Okay, so I didn't film all of my runs last night, and because I was kind of trying to figure out why this car was doing the things that it was doing. Now, it was slow. I expected it to be a little slow because the weather or the air was extremely bad yesterday. So I expected it to be slower than last week. But something else is going on if you pay attention to earlier in the video, and I edited into the title there, watch the fuel pressure gauge. And right now it's not doing it. And now something else, it was, if you've seen that, right at the end of the track, it would almost go down to 5 pounds. And it would also bounce around when I'd first turn it on. Let's see if it does it this time. See, it goes up to over 7, then it kind of bleeds down. It should be around 7. You don't really want it. 7 is where you want it. As you see, look, it's kind of, it could be the gauge, but I'm going to go ahead and check everything out. It's things that need to be done to it anyway, and maybe we can get this thing to running like it used to. But really, what really concerned me more than it being slow is one time, the second time run. So here's the first time run. You can barely see it because the track seems to be too cheap to replace the ink on their printer. But it went a 661. I was like, wow, that's... I didn't think they would slow that car down this much, but the air was really, really bad. But here's the one that scared me, 667. It's mostly, look at that 60 foot. That's terrible. This car used to 60 foot in the 30s all day long. And it hasn't done it since it's been sitting all that time, and I did decide to start doing some racing on and off again. But it went from a 144 in the first time run to that, and that concerned me. And you could really, and you could also feel it in first gear. Then all of a sudden, we did go a 64, and it stayed consistent all night long after that. So we're going to check out the carburetor and the rest of the fuel system, and make sure everything's right. It's something that needs to be done anyway. Can't promise that it'll be an improvement, but it should be done anyway. But anyway, that third time run, 664 with a 6. 664, I think that's a 5. Maybe you can see it better when I zero in on the camera. First round eliminations, another 664. I ran it all the way through with a 2. Now I did slow down to a 65 with a 3 on that last run, but it was getting extremely damp. Could have been a little bit of dampness on the track, and another slow 60 foot though. So it's a combination of terrible air, and I think we need to check out. We need to go through the carburetor, replace the gaskets, make sure it's all clean. This fuel pressure regulator has been on here forever. I want to see if there's a rebuild kit. If I can't find a rebuild kit, I'd be willing to. I'd almost be disappointed if I took it apart and didn't see a bunch of dirt and crust and dried up diaphragms and stuff. And we need to replace our fuel filter. And you can get on me if you want in the comments, but I can't remember the last time I replaced the fuel filter either. And I do know we put a new pump in it in 2016, I think. So pump's not that old, doesn't have a lot of use on it, but we'll take that. I'm going to take that bottom plate off of it and make sure it's clean. There's also a filter screen in it, and the way my filter is set up, the filter is between the pump and the tank. So we'll make sure, we'll just blow all the lines out when we disconnect them and make sure everything's okay and go from there. So I need to find out what gaskets I do have and everything I need for the carburetor. A lot of the rebuild kits, you got to watch which rebuild kit you get for these 1050 Dominators, so you don't always get the correct gaskets. I remember I had to order them separately after getting a kit. So I'm going to go ahead and take this thing apart. I don't know if all the things I do are going to be in a separate video or all in this video. So stay tuned. Okay, so I got everything apart before I ordered everything, just so I'm sure that I'm ordering new stuff. I got the fuel filter canister off. It's under that rag. Did not take the fuel pump apart yet. That's a very old, reliable old model. The pump isn't old, but that's a very reliable Holley blue, the noisy ones. And it's pretty easy to order. I'll order a rebuild kit for it, not much to that. And I took the pressure regulator apart, and I do see some stuff in there, so we're going to clean that out. And hopefully I can order just a new diaphragm and needle for it instead of having to buy the whole darn regulator, because that's all there is to it. It's just that housing, this diaphragm with that big needle that seats down into there. And I am seeing some metal like stuff here. The only place that could have come from was the pump. Some people like to run a filter before and after the pump, or after the pump, which after the pump is probably not a bad idea, because if your pump comes apart, you all that goes up into here. So that's something to think about. Maybe I should be doing. But this car's been like this since forever. So we're talking decades. Carburetor's off. Nothing too awful filthy. Some of the gaskets, I love these blue no-stick gaskets where you can take it apart without tearing your gasket up. But they did seem wet right here, which would indicate some gas was seeping into areas it shouldn't be. You don't look, they're not filthy or anything. No tarnish, of course, because racing fuel lasts a lot longer and doesn't build up the dirt and crud and filth like pump gas does. But I'll get a basic kit, replace these gaskets, and the power valve block off that gasket. I don't run a power valve on my race carburetors. Most guys don't. And we'll replace that gasket in there. They can leak and cause some stuff. Blow these out. These little air jets can get dirty and clogged. As you can see, there's some filth that has accumulated, and it gets down in there. We'll just blow it out real clean, make sure all that's good. We'll replace the accelerator pump, and then we'll try it. We'll see how it does. Fuel filter, not too filthy down in there. Let's see if I can get it out with one hand. But the way that this filter works, the fuel comes into the line, into the top of the filter canister in here, and it's filtered through the filter out this outside end and into here. And I see a little bit of stuff in there, but not a whole lot. But I will think I need to think hard about putting my filter after the pump, because like I said, if anything goes wrong in that pump, you can have metal circulating or coming up into your carburetor and causing all kinds of stuff. I mean, because if you screw up a pump, you just replace the pump. But if the pump is pumping junk up in your carburetor, you got to take all that apart and clean it out. So it's something to think about, rearranging my setup there. But I'm going to go ahead and order filter, basic carb kit for a 1050 Dominator 8896 model. I'll get a Holley rebuild kit, Holley fuel pump. Hopefully I can find a rebuild kit for that regulator. That's a Mallory regulator. And we're going to try that out and see. So when I get my parts in, I'll make another video. Thanks for watching.